Hello everyone, go ahead and check your answers to the day 1 homework. Please make sure you pause that video if you need more time, and if you have any questions the next time I'm in, just let me know and we can go over whichever ones you'd like to go over. All right, so today our focus is on the area of shaded regions. So we're going to take a lot of those formulas that we talked about yesterday and we're going to use them again. So a lot of this you might be able to do without actually having a lot of guidance from me. So I encourage you to actually pause the video a lot and try some of the problems and then unpause it and see if you agree with me. All right, so for example, this first one, go ahead, see if you can figure out the area of this shaded region before I do. So as I'm looking at this, I realize I'm going to have to find the area of the rectangle, and then I'm going to have to subtract 2 areas of the circles. So when I look here, I can see that the radius of the circle is 11, which means this is 11, and this is 11, and this is 11, and this is 11, which means that this length will be 44. And then I have 11 and 11, so that means this width is 22. So I know an area of a rectangle is base times height, or 44 times 22. And then the area of my circle is pi r squared. And I have to multiply that by 2 because there's 2 circles. So I'm going to take away 2 times pi, and my radius is 11. Now it doesn't say to round, which means I'm going to multiply the 44 times 22, and I'm going to take away, and I'm just going to multiply the 2 and the 11 squared together and leave the pi there. So 242 pi. This is my answer in units squared because it did not say to round. And that's it. If it did say to round, then I would type in that whole thing and round appropriately. All right, 2. Give it a try. I'm going to jump in. So as I look at 2, I see that I have a rectangle again, but I only want the area of the shaded area. So I'm going to do area of the rectangle minus area. And as I look here, I realize that if I took those 4 quarters, I would have a whole circle. So I'm actually going to take away the area of one circle. So I can add up here, and I can see that this dimension is 14 and this is 12. So base times height, 14 times 12. And then area of a circle, pi r squared. And my radius here, as I look carefully, is going to be 6. So I've got 168 minus 36 pi units squared. And it doesn't say to round, so I'm going to leave it like that. 3, it says ABCD, it's a square. BD is 5 radical 2. So once again, give this a try. I'm going to jump right in. So BD is 5 radical 2. And this is a square, which means that this triangle right here is an isosceles right triangle, which means it's a 45, 45, 90. So it wants me to figure out the length of any side. Well, if I have a 45, 45, 90, that's B, D, D radical 2. Across from the 90 is 5 radical 2, which means D is 5. So these sides reach 5. All right, so now they want me to find the radius of the circle. Well, this would be a radius right here, going all the way across, and that's 5. So half of it would be 2.5. And now they want me to find the area of the shaded region. So I'm going to do the area of the square minus the area of the circle. So square is side squared, or base times height. So that'd be 5 squared. Area of a circle, pi r squared. And my radius we said is 2.5. So that gives me 25 minus 6.25 pi, and that's in units squared. And once again, it didn't ask me to round, so I am done. 4. All right, spend some time looking at this one. It says in the target shown below, the radius of the largest circle is 10 inches. The radius of the medium circle is 6 inches. And the radius of the bullseye is 1 inch. Obviously not drawn to scale. And they want me to find the area of the shaded region. So if I want to find the area of the shaded region, they actually gave me more information than I need to know. If I find the area of the medium circle, that would be area of a circle is pi r squared. So if I find the area of the medium circle, what do I need to remove just to get the shaded region? The small circle. So I'm just going to take away, so this is the medium one, take away the area of the circle of the small one. So the medium radius is the 6, and the small one is 1. So we've got 36 pi minus 1 pi, so that'd be 35 pi. And everything's measured in inches, so this would be inches squared. 5, it says, Mr. Alvarez plans to carpet part of his living room floor. The floor is a square with a side length of 20 feet. He wants to carpet a quarter circle. What is the area of the uncarpeted region to the nearest tenth? All right, so it's a square. All these sides are 20. So he wants to know the area of the uncarpeted place. So that's going to be the shaded area right here. Well, if I do the area of the whole square, and if I can take away the area of the the quarter circle, so that's a fourth of a circle, I will be left with that little piece right there. So area of a square is side squared, and then minus 1/4 pi r squared. So 20 squared minus 1/4 pi, and the radius here of the circle would be what? This is a quarter. So this is actually the radius, and sometimes people have trouble seeing it. So if I draw it in for you, see how that's a whole circle? So the radius is 20. It does say nearest tenth of a degree. So because it says nearest tenth, I actually want to figure out what this is. So I could just simplify it and do 400 minus, and then this would also be 400 times a fourth is 100 pi. Or I can grab that calculator and I could type in the whole thing as well. Oops, 1/4. Pi is down here. And I can do it that way as well. So it's the nearest tenth, I have 85.8. And that is in feet squared. So this would be exact. and this would be the rounded, the circled one. All right, next it says, what is the exact perimeter of the uncarpeted region? Ooh, so they want the perimeter now. Well, the perimeter would be all of this and this. So I obviously have the two sides, which are both 20. Whoops. So I've got the 20 plus the 20. But how am I going to get this piece right here? This piece. Nope, not that piece. Sorry. This piece. The curve. Well, if you remember, that's called the circumference when I go the perimeter of a circle. So I only want a quarter of that. So it's going to be plus 1/4 of the circumference. So I've got 40 plus circumference is 2 pi r. So 40 plus 1/4 times 2 pi, and the radius we said is 20. And it does want the exact. So 40 plus, and now in my calculator, I'm just going to have to do 1/4 times 2 times 20 and leave the pi out of it. So when I do that, I get 10 and then pi, and that's just in feet. It's one dimension because it's perimeter and not area. And we're done. All right, 6. The front of Mrs. Bishop's doghouse needs painting. The total area needs to be painted except for the door. The door is 1.5 meters high and 2 meters wide. How many square meters of paint do you need? So as I look at this, I'm going to break it up into a triangle and a rectangle. So I'm going to have to figure out the area of the triangle plus the area of the rectangle, but I have to figure out the area of the door and take that away. That's supposed to be an A for area, not a triangle. All right, so I know triangle is 1/2 base times height. Rectangles are base times height. So if I look at my triangle here, I can see my base is 3.5. And my height, remember, is always the altitude. So that's going to be 1.2. So I have 1/2 times 3.5 times 1.2. And then the area of the rectangle is 3.5 times 2.5. And then I have to take away the area of the door, which is 2 times 1.5. And I can just type this in my calculator now. So make sure you try doing that. Make sure you're okay typing that in. And I get 7.85 meters squared. Next it says, if one can of paint covers 2.5 square meters, how many cans of paint will you need? So I'm going to take the 7.85 meters squared, and I'm going to see how many 2.5 square meters fit into it. And I get 3.14. And if you've ever painted before, you always want to buy more because you never want to have to go back and get it remixed. Sometimes it doesn't look like the exact same color, so you really want the paint mix one time. And we're already over 3 cans, so we have to go up to 4 cans. If one paint can cost $19.89, how much will all the paint cost? Well, I need 4 of them, so $19.89 times 4 gives me $79.56 for my paint. All right, so that is the day 2 notes. Make sure you now try the day 2 homework. If you have any questions, you can definitely stay after school or talk to me when I am back. All right, have a great day, everyone. Bye.